So as I said in yesterday's video, the killer has been gypped this week. So if you're a killer main trying to get all the teachables, you've only got one to get this week. But to be fair, you can make a decent build out of it if you have the other perks to go with it. So, this week's Shrine of Secrets for the killer has only got the one perk, Territorial Imperative. Right? Which is basically, you want to go in the basement as a survivor, the killer's going to know about it if he's far enough away. So let's go have a look at the build I've made up, which isn't too bad considering that it's got to be centered around the basement. So, we'll start off with the obvious, Territorial Imperative. If I'm 32 meters away from the basement or more, for 3 seconds I will see the aura of a survivor who has entered the basement. This can be triggered every 30 seconds. So it has a 30-second cooldown. It's actually pretty good at level 3. Then we've got Iron Grasp, so that it takes longer for the survivor to wiggle off my shoulder once I've downed them and picked them up. And then we've got Agitation, which increases my movement speed when I'm carrying a survivor. My terror radius is also increased as a negative side, but to be fair, I'm running a killer that runs a chainsaw. That's not going to matter much to me. And then to add the piece de resistance to the basement build, we have Monstrous Shrine, which by the way I believe needs desperate buff because it's been in the game for so long. But Monstrous Shrine increases the progression, increases the speed of the entity's progression, increases the difficulty to escape the hook on their own, and increases the penalty to escape fails to get off the hook. These are all in the basement, so this means that this Monstrous Shrine does not affect hooks outside the basement. And to be quite fair, it's alright, but it just needs a buff so that it's actually a perk worth running on its own. And then for the add-ons from good old Hillbilly, as usual, we have the Carburetor Tuning Guide with the Primer Bulb, so I can charge up a lot faster. Won't be as fast since I don't have Tinkerer, but I'll make do. And to make sure I get a decent map with a decent basement placing, we're going to go with Macmillan's Phalanx Bone for the offering, so we can go to the Macmillan Estate. But yeah, as I did with the Survivor video, at the end of this video I will go over the perks and what I believe they can be used for in other builds, or if they need a buff. I've already said the Monstrous Shrine does, but we'll see how that goes. Alright, let's go find us some prey. See if they're stupid enough to go in my basement without even anyone being hooked down there. Okay, we did get Macmillan Estate after all, which is good. And we got the Groaning Storehouse, which is a double-edged sword, really. And absolutely no obsession. Even better. Okay. That's far enough. I'll have to check out where the basement is soon. Really? Oh my god. Just fly into my arms. I love rank reset as killer. Ah, it's all the way over there. Right, we'll get as close as we can. That hook over there looks pretty lovely. And wham, what the fuck? Oh. Too much whip. Hi. Okay, let's start the basement party, shall we? What is this person? Oh, I get it. Alright. Are you serious? Well. First kill. Technically. Hi. Okay, let's get the second person down in the basement. I don't like these Okay, so that was weird. Alright, they just kept going. At least they got crows on their head so I can find them. No. Alright. This is one of the best things about a basement build. They're too altruistic for their own good. Alright, now I've got to find the other person. Hello. Oh, is she going for the save? She's going for the save. Okay. Basement build for the win. I actually didn't expect it to go this smoothly. Alright, let's go break a pallet real quick. Alright, so one of them gave up, both of them, two of them gave up. Oh, interesting. What I don't understand is why you would run directly towards the basement if I'm chasing you. Or why you'd hang around the basement once I've hung somebody. It's just like, what the fuck is the point? You're just handing me the win. I don't mind that. Go for gold, but it just doesn't make sense to me as someone who's been playing this for, I think it's close to a year. I've been playing it now. Didn't get many points for that, which is fine. Pipped, which is good. Really, this is the person that got the most points out of the survivors. Although, to be fair, when Gummy rage quit, there wasn't much chance after that. Especially with the build I had. Not bad. I don't want to get hate for it. I'm not even sure if my settings has been changed yet. But that was way too quick. Let's go for another. Alright, this time we've got Suffocation Pit. Could be better. It's not great. Alright. Let's check. Basement. Yeah, it's in the killer shack. Okay. Let's go. Oh. Well, this is awkward. Okay, this guy's gonna pallet loot me. Yep. Okay, well, this is alright. At least these guys are offering me a better challenge. But you're going down. Alright. So the lorry is hanging around.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's get 2 in there, shall we?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. I heard someone. I swore I just heard someone. Alright. Hello, Twitchy. How's it going? What? Oh, yeah, no. Back on the hook.
Ow. Ah.
Okay, so Twitchy's a bit of a pain as usual, but it's what happens. I also switched back to my prestige clothing, so should be rather interesting. Alright, let's head back. Oh, are we really doing this again? I can't hear him. They got out. Holy shit. They got out and they let them up. Alright, that's it. We gotta go. Get back here, Twitchy. You got decisive and I gotta make sure you lose it. Alright. To the corner. Oh, you're not using it. Okay. I can't believe they got away. I didn't even see them. Okay. Oh, hello. Oh, it was the Jake that got out. Okay, well, back you go. And wham. I want to know what this other person is doing. They are literally not, like... I haven't seen this, but where is it? X-She. Oh, hello. Okay, explain yourself. Okay, well, that was some quick games. Alright. Woohoo! Alright, let's go kick some gems, get some extra points, and call it a day. I like this build. I didn't have much to work with this week, but I made it work in my favour. Whee! Okay, and whee! Did they get no gems this game? Holy shit. Okay. Okay. Well, that was an interesting game. Another no gen, but no rage quit this time. Always love a no rage quit. You get more points out of it that way. It's a shame that Lori actually, she didn't technically, like, fully rage quit, but she did, I'll repeat, she did let go. So that's all on her, really. Ah, that was an interesting game. Interesting to say the least. Oh. Again. I understand Twitchy getting the most points. He, whoever it is, did alright. That was interesting. I like that a lot. I will not use this build a lot though. It is not something I prefer. I mean, it's great. Alright, so here's the build that I used for the entirety of the killer video. So, let's go over the perks and what they can be used for genuinely and generally. So, Iron Grasp at any level is always an added bonus for the killer. Always gives the survivor more time to wiggle free, which is always good for the killer. Gives them a few extra seconds, I think, or a few extra meters to get to a hook. Always good. It's always good when you are up against people with Decisive Strike as well. Always a good thing, this one, because if you're up against people with Decisive and they're not the obsession, it takes longer for them to get to the point where they can use Decisive. And if you can always get into a hook first, it's a wasted perk slot for the survivor. Always pisses them off. Love it. Territorial Imperative is always a good perk to use if you're going to just genuinely use the basement. Like, if you really prefer to use the basement, since those hooks cannot be destroyed or sabotaged, that is infinite use for the basement during a game. It's also a place where survivors can get a chest. It's always kind of a gamble for the survivors. It's also the best way for, if it's a survivor friends, they can use the knowledge that one person gets from going to the basement and attracting the attention of the killer with Territorial Imperative, then they will all know about it. So in a sense, it's a good and bad thing for killer. It's a double-edged sword. If it's a survivor friends group, it's always a bad thing. Agitation's always good in general as well because of the fact that you transport bodies a lot faster. Like, you saw the speed with which I moved. I was able to get a few people to the basement. With the combination of Iron Grasp, you actually have a lot better chance of reaching a hook. Always. Unless they have Decisive. Then you're in trouble. And then Monstrous Shrine. Now, Monstrous Shrine used to be pretty good. Back when there wasn't, like, much knowledge. And there wasn't much to pick from in this game. Monstrous Shrine was something that a lot of killers probably would have used back in the day. Although, it hasn't been changed too much. The fact that it is still the bare minimum percentage extra on everything is a bit laughable, and they need to increase it somewhat. For instance, a 9% faster in-speed progression at level 3 is laughable. It's okay, but it's still laughable after everything this game has gone through. Especially when there are survivors who quite literally can run rings around the killer long enough for this to not even matter. Like, some survivors are so good that they can actually escape the basement with the killer right there, unless he's a Leatherface, then they're kind of screwed. The 15% increased difficulty on escape attempts, yeah, it could work, But I honestly think you're going to make that percentage so much higher. It really punishes survivors when they're trying to get off the hook themselves. I wouldn't make it too high, but I'd make it higher than 15, maybe 30%. It's double the amount it is now. I did once think that maybe that should be a 100% increase difficulty. But that was back when I didn't know how to play killer. And then we have the increased penalty to escape fails. That also needs a big increase. And maybe bigger than the difficulty to escape. The point of Monster Shrine should be that it should be so difficult to get out of the basement once you're hooked that you have to rely on other survivors to get out. If you're the last person left, you have no chance to get out. Even if you can still somehow manage to do attempt escape prompt, like say for instance you got hooked just as the other person died, then Monster Shrine should be a big punishment to you if you do that. And the reason why I picked Macmillan's Phalanx Bone is because then the original map, Shelter Woods from Macmillan Estate, is one of the best maps for basement play. Basement is always right in the middle. Although that can also kind of be a double-edged sword in a way, because you have to be 32 meters away from the basement for territorial imperative to work. That's the point. However, my play is if I finish checking around the basement to make sure there are no other survivors, I will then leave. I do not stick around. It's a bitch to fight this build, and if I see someone get hooked in the basement, I literally have to wait until I am 100% sure that I can get them out of the basement. I have to be 100%. I cannot do it on a gamble. Best way for that is if someone manages to lure the killer away from the basement so far and then get picked up, and I'm close enough, then I will go down. But anyway. And I don't need to go over the add-ons for Hillbilly because I use them nearly every time I use Hillbilly. Except for that one time when I used the one hit instead of the insta-down, the usual insta-down chainsaw. So you get one injured state added with the chainsaw instead of instantly downing them. I remember that. That was a fun game, that one. But yes, so hopefully I tickled your bones today with this one. No pun intended since I've got the bone offering there. It's always fun to find new builds, and this one isn't exactly new. I will admit that while I was creating the build, I did realise that it was exactly the same to the YouTuber Monto's basement builds. The two builds in particular are Bubba's basement for his Leatherface and Trapper's basement, obviously for the Trapper. So this one's kind of for the Hillbilly in a way. He kind of needs to rely on open space, which is why Macmillan Estate can be pretty damn good. And I did have a practice round where I was in Lambkin Lane. It was horrible, but I still got all the kills. And I had to disconnect in that game as well, which wasn't fun. But yes, it's always good. And I pipped both games. I didn't double pip, but I pipped. And I'm almost rank 11 already. But yes, that's enough rambling. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's Shrine of Secrets for the Killer this week. Next week, I'm hoping that we get something better than just territorial imperative. You can make a build easily when you've got one perk that you have to use. But I want two decent perks. I'm saying decent. I do not want any of that crap. I do not want Beast of Prey again. And for the survivors, I'm pretty much over the survivors shrine. I've gotten an object of obsession twice. One time was with a Leatherface that got salty after I was downed, hooked, and then off the hook again. That when he got me, he camped me. If you saw that video, you can probably vouch that this happened, or if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I can't even remember what week it was. And then the second time I had Object of Obsession in Shrine of Secrets, I had a Freddy, and the object doesn't work on Freddy. So yeah, not happy with that. But still did good. I didn't pip both those games. I think I de-pipped against that Leatherface. But against the Freddy, I blacked, which is okay, because I was terrified to do anything because of the sheer fact I had no idea where the hell he was. and I'd used up I'd given up my favourite perks except for Urban Evasion for it. Always good. Always good. But yes, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. Go check out links down below to all my social medias. Subscribe, like, and follow. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.